Welcome to Mask AI. If you are into no-code tools, automations, and AI-powered solutions, you are in the right place. Let's build smarter and not harder. You've probably seen WhatsApp chatbots before, but this one auto-updates the product lists whenever you make a change and can handle text, voice notes, images, and documents. Real quick n8n, this chatbot is smart, media savvy, and here's the kicker. WhatsApp now has around 2.78 billion users worldwide. Over 50 million businesses uses WhatsApp to engage with their customers. It delivers 100 billion plus messages daily and boasts mind-blowing 98% message open rate. That means your chatbot lands via customers already up. Get see immediately and drive real engagement. In today's video, I'll show you how to build the next level WhatsApp chatbot using n8n, step by step with zero code needed. Okay, let's dive into the overview of this workflow. I have divided it into three main parts. The first part is the part where I was unable to mention earlier. I have created this workflow, in this case for a cake shop, so have designed a list of data for testing purposes. So in this case, I have product name, description, ingredients, and prices. So in this part is where this schedule trigger will update every day at mid-time. So if there's any, if we change any product price or anything with regards to the description or ingredients, or if we even add new products to this table, this trigger will trigger it and update the Supabase table. So a chatbot will be always updated with any changes happen to our products. It regards to our products. Then users who messages us will get the updated details also. So that part is also automated. We don't have to do it manually. This part is about where whichever the messages which come in through our WhatsApp node, we categorize them as audio, text, image, and documents. So all four parts are covered. So the audio route is this one. So it goes through this route and download the media and transcribe it and store it in our chat table. And the text part is straightforward. It also stores in our chat table. And also for the images and document part, we also have which is identical as this, the audio. Whichever the images comes through this node will download it, and it will fetch the necessary data and feed it to the OpenAI image analyzer node. Then it will analyze the image and output the results into chat table. One of the key features in here is that whenever a customer gives us a message, every message is stored in our WhatsApp chat history table in here. So we'll see how this works in our Steam in the testing part. So whichever the messages come, according to the phone number, it will store the message with the message content and the message time with that respective phone number. So yeah, and moving on to the third part, this is the response generator part. I think you have been familiar with these things. So there are many workflows they have designed to create chatbots like this. So this part is the AI agent. We have given a system prompt and we have given the AI agent to act in a way that will be suitable for our needs. And whenever the customer asks about detail about a product, it will go to product table in the Supabase and fetch the most updated and relevant data and give it to the user. And also before replying, the AI agent will go to and read the chat table with regards to that number. Then the AI agent will have a basic idea about this customer and has a memory on the previous conversations that we had. So eventually it will do a better response. And whichever the response, when it been output from the AI agent, it will also be stored in a chat table. So both a human and the AI agent's responses all have been saved in a chat table with regards to their number. So that's basically the overview of this workflow. Now let's go and have a test of this workflow. Yeah, we are all set for the testing now. Let's start with creating our product list from here. Okay, so in this case table, this is the existing products we have uploaded. So we make some changes in our main sheet that we used to update the create. So we'll change some prices in here. Instead of ready, let's environment on buy and for So we have made some changes to prices. Now let's go and see whether we can upload them. So This schedule trigger, I will remove it. I let a manual trigger, then it will be easier for us to this manual trigger node and connect it. Let's execute the workflow and see guides running now. Switching the data to n8n items has been selected. So all 2 items has been uploaded with the updated data. Now let's go and see in WhatsApp, the Supabase table whether the data has been, as you can see here, it has been updated. Cool. So it's working over here. Let's dive into the WhatsApp chatbot, the main part in here. Okay, click save. Here now let's execute this workflow and see whether it's working. Saying hi. The message was triggered by the WhatsApp. As I did divide as a text message and stored it in chat history. Now it's processing through AI agent. And also the reply from the bot also has been stored in the chat history table. And we have got our response. Let's go and see whether now we have got responses have been saved here. Successful. So users message was like hi, and this was the response from the chat. Okay, now let's ask details. Let's execute this from here. Here spoken now. Are they selling cakes? Cake. Sada. It's first the reply, and let's see whether it's been stored in that chat history table. So the message type in also has been identified as a text here. Okay, now let's test an audio. Hi, can you suggest me some cakes within the price range of $50 to $60? It triggered the message. And it successfully sent in through audio and fetching the data and retrieving, transcribing and stored. And it has been sent to the WhatsApp page also. We got this message. We have one more. So the audio message. The audio messages have also been successfully identified. Okay, as we saw, agent is accessor playing for text and for the audios. Now let's see how will it responds to for any images. Okay, this is a JPG file. Most probably it will identify it as a document. But let's send it and see what will be the response. Sorry, I forgot to execute this workflow. Let's try it again. It's triggered. The workflow is active now. Let's see now. It's successful triggered. It was identified as a document. Now it's fetching the data and analyzing the main store in n8n chat history table. It looks like you're interested in a delicious chocolate cake. So this is also working successfully. I think now you have got a basic idea. This chatbot is not only designed for text replies, it can also handle both audio, images, and as well as documents also. Okay, I read the full workflow template in the description below. It will help you to follow along, understand each step clearly, and can speed up the automation building by 5 times, especially when you start reusing it for future projects. Okay, now let's dive into the part where we build this workflow from scratch. Let's start with the product update workflow. Let's get the schedule trigger, and we'll set it to midnight, so every day at 12 a.m. midnight, the schedule trigger will run and fetch the data from the Google Sheets. Now we let the Google Sheets known. We'll select their action as get rows in sheet. So I have set my credentials, set new one to be the other parts. For the document, we'll select the product list and the sheet number 1. Okay, now let's move on to the next step. We'll attach the loop of items. Don't keep the batch size as 1. Okay, let's move further now. Now we'll get the Supabase known and select the action as update true. In this case, I have set my credentials, but as for you to know how to set the credentials, we'll move on to that part. Okay, once you have created your Supabase account, you will come to a screen like this. First, we'll create a new project, and you will have project name. I'd give it like WhatsApp, Chatbot, and your password. And depending on your selector suitable location to host your database, can click create new project. Okay, once a new project has been created, let's connect Supabase with n8n through APIs. Go to API docs and go to API settings. So you'll find URL called project URL. Copy it and paste it in here. And for the service secret doors, go to API keys and you'd find it in here. Copy it and paste it and click save. So connection has successfully connected. Now let's go and create our 2 tables within K. For that, I have created two SQL commands which can find it in the resources. So I'll copy it table which you are create into a product descriptions into a Supabase. Go to SQL editor, paste respective command in here. So so it was success. Let's go and see whether our table is visible. Yeah, it's here. Okay, cool. Let's move on to the second part. Okay, now open a new tab in here. Here's the SQL command to create the check history table. Cool. So now both our tables has been created. Okay, now let's move on with the rest of the workflow. Okay, once we have created the credentials, we'll run this workflow and get the necessary data for here for further iterations. So we'll select the table name as cake product and select the condition here. So we'll give it as for the product IDs from there in displays only the other. This workflow will identify from where to where the fields like the data columns must be added. So it must start from the product ID. So the field name is product ID, which is equal to a field value in Google Sheet. So it will be 1. Okay, now data in this setting, we will select this as defined below for each column. Then it will minimize so much of errors. So for the field name, we'll again use it as the field value, and for the field product name, we'll add this one. Likewise, we'll move on with the rest also. Okay, I have added each and every field here. Now let's execute this workflow and see whether if it's right. Okay, it's successful. So now, as you can see in here, we'll change some prices and see whether if our workflow is working. So in here, the original price is 65. So I'll change these two prices. For example, I'd put it as 7 and 7p. 70, likewise. Okay. Again, we'll execute this workflow and see whether if it's working. It's running, fetching the items. Yeah, it's completed now. Now let's see whether the fields have been updated. Now refresh these. Yeah, successfully have updated 3 of these items. Moving on to the second stage, we'll set up our WhatsApp, or first we'll get the trigger, and let's get SH here. They are familiar with how to trigger this WhatsApp node. So I got my message. So now I'll connect it with their WhatsApp cloud. It will be much easier for us to move further when we are implementing it. For now, while we get the message, send message action node, I have to set up the access token again, which I will do and come back shortly. Yeah, my access token is tested and success connection is successful now. There are so much of videos about setting this WhatsApp meta credentials, so I'm not gonna walk you through. So I'll move on with the next steps. I'll add my number here. This put it test. For now, I keep text body as test just for the testing purposes. Okay, now I'll execute this step and see whether a connection is working without any errors. Yeah, it's successful now. Now we can do further integrations without any problem. Okay, now I'll remove this. We might be hitting this at the last step now. Move it further. I get the speed out more. And I'll fetch the messages field in here. So those are the fields we'll be needing it further. Okay, it's success now. Now we'll split our outs using a switch door, depending whether if it's an audio or text message or an image or a document. Sorry, it must be all this. We must write this schema here, and in this case it's just text, but then give the audio route for this, and we'll rename the output also, and we'll be at the other routing options also. Yeah, I have added each routing routes now. This is for the audio, this for the text, this for image, and finally this is for document. Yeah, we'll execute the workflow. Yeah, it successfully outputted in text by route. Now we'll set up an edit set field node here. This is set field we are using before we are feeding now whatever the incoming informations to our Supabase check history table. So I'll be debit as a string. Yeah, we'll select this as number. This is the phone number. If this is the message content, we use the schema for it. And the message type, it's also a string. So the message type is free in the setting here, and we'll use this schema for it. Okay, set now. Yeah, Okay, now let's connect this with Supabase Tactic Street Node. So in this case, we'll be using create rows. So once every message is come, this creates a new row. Yeah. Select the type of the table we need. It's chat history table. Yeah, now we'll set the fields to send. So as the ID, we'll be using the phone number here, and for the message content, we'll be using the schema. And as for the message type, we'll be using this message type output from our set fields. Yeah, we have set those fields. Now let's execute this workflow and see our data has been updated in the chat this table. Yeah, so it outputted in. Let's now go and checking this table. Yeah, so it has successfully bit a message in here. This was my previous one. This is as I just said now, so it's success. Okay, now let's move on with we did the other two routes. Okay, and we'll be needing the exact two nodes for that, so we'll be duplicating it. Now let's get the WhatsApp media download action node. Yeah, download media, this one. We need to enter the media ID in here. For that, I have to send a audio message to fetch the ID, which I will do now. And I'll delete this route, otherwise there are execution or trigger WhatsApp trigger node is not functioning properly. Okay, it's waiting for the trigger. I send audience. Hi, are you open today? And what's your most selling cake? Yeah, so it triggered successfully and returning the audio route. Now let's connect this and get the ID. So this will be the ID. So when there's an audio received from a WhatsApp, it will be stored in a WhatsApp meta servers. So this is the ID to find the location of that audio. So we can download it. So we run this and see. Yeah, we got the URL in here. So now we have to fetch the URL. For that, I'll be using HTTP request node. So the URL this, and for the authentications, we'll use the predefined credential types, and we'll be using the WhatsApp API, same as the WhatsApp trigger credentials. Now let's execute this. Yeah, we'll return us the binary format of audio. Now let's transcribe this audio using an OpenAI node. Transcribe the recording. Yeah. Oh, the reason I use this because this OpenAI transcribe a recording node only needs a field in binary pair. That's why otherwise we can just use, I'll show you. Otherwise we can use this URL to download it. But in this case, the OpenAI only accepts binary formats. And also we need to make sure you read the correct, whatever the field name available in here. And yeah, it should be identifier. Then only it can identify binary 5. So we'll execute the step here. We are successful. Now let's connect this node to our sets field node. And here, as for the phone number, we'll fetch those data from without node. And for the message type, we'll be using the OpenAI output. And for the message, for the message content. And for the message type, again, we'll be using the schema mentioned as type in this without node. Okay, let's execute this and see with it's upgraded in chat this table. Yeah, it's successfully upgraded. Yeah, so this outputted the field. Now let's feed them into Supabase chat history table. So in this case, I think I haven't selected the rupee. I have it's correct. Yeah, here. So yeah, it was successful. I think we have successfully added. See, yeah, message type audio is a n8n number. Yeah, successful. Now let's move on to the image and document converting part. For that, I have to send an image here to move further, which I will do now. Yeah, I selected the find random file, so it's in JPG. Sorry, I forgot to execute the workflow, or let's make sure to execute the workflow. Yeah, it triggered successfully. As I thought this would select the document route, but it's not a problem. Both images and documents, both will send them through a single route. Again, we'll select the WhatsApp download media node, and as for the ID, I'll be using this one. Okay, now let's execute the workflow. Yeah, in this case, I'll be using the OpenAI image analyzer. I'll be using this. So this is a default prompt that has given to this OpenAI node. You can change it according to your needs. Okay, now we can use this URL to fetch it from the WhatsApp servers. In this case also we can use either with a, if it's a binary file like this, or with a returns us to an URL, we can just to use the URL. Step. Now let's make an HTTP request on the grain to fetch the relevant binary file. For the integration, use this URL. It's same as the above HTTP request known. We'll be using the WhatsApp API here, and let's execute this. Yeah. Now let's get the OpenAI analyze image known, and we'll choose a model for this. I'll be using the GPT-4o method. This is their default prompt which has been given to this analyze image node. You can create your own prompt, but this will do our job. For the input type, we select the input type as binary files. Input data field name will be data, and let's execute this. Yeah. And then again we'll connect it. For the phone number we'll be using our phone number in the spit out node, and for the message content we'll be using the OpenAI output from the analyze image node. And for the message type, we'll be using the type schema in the spit out node. Yeah, let's execute this and see. It successfully gave us an output. Now let's feed this fields of data to our Supabase checklist table. Yeah, it's okay now. There's one more step to this part, and again I'll be using the bit field set node here, and I'll be using this to be field of output to feed it to our AI agent node in order for us to create a response. So here we have successfully done our data transformation part here. So now whichever the messages be either come in as a audio or text or image or a document, will be processed in this part and take us to the next step in order for us to generate a suitable response for our users. Jumping onto the final stage, I attached the main, like the brain in this workflow. The AI agent, we're using the define below option here. So we have to give a user prompt and also a system prompt for this. I have created a system prompt and as well as a user prompt. In this case, would be doing this for a cake shop. Depending on the workflow you're building, either you can be for any use case, then you can create your own prompt as you like. Yeah, this is my system prompt. I have given it the clear instruction on how to act and respond properly, and when and which tool must be used for each to answer our users' queries. So I'll be just copy it and paste in it. It's also available in resources. You can find it in the description. I have pasted my system prompt number. I'll give the user prompt also. In this case, I'll be using the message content from the evidence field. Yeah. Now let's connect our chat memory. Sorry, the chat model node. For a while, I'll be using the OpenAI chat model for this. Okay, it's done now. Yeah. And make sure to execute this workflow before creating connecting the memory. Because it has a learned special thing we need to figure out, which is like I'll explain it to you. So once the AI agent has given us a response, we need to go to our chat memory. In this case, I'll be using the simple chat memory and use this phone number ID schema as the session ID. Okay, it's been set. Now let's connect tools. I'll be using the Supabase tool here. Resource will be row, operation will be get many, and the table name should be chat history, and depending on your limit, you can set the limit here. Yeah, it's done now. We connected our chat history table. Now go to the same step. It's also the operation will be get many and select the table ID as cake product. Yeah, it's also set now. Now there's another addition we need to do with Supabase. Whichever the response generated from the AI agent. Yeah, this is the output from the AI agent. We also need to update this HUD for a chat history table. So both incoming users message and the output message we give as a response to the user, both will be stored in a chat history table. So whenever that same customer, even if he doesn't order at that time, even if he comes some later on, then depending on his phone number, this agent will go to the chat history table and ID device and give the user a suitable response. Okay, I'll be selecting as chat history. When I to select the fields also here, I'll be using the message content and the output. They also can end the phone number. Let's execute this and see now. Yeah, we need to add the message type also in here. So the message type we again would be selected from that field. Okay, let's run this again. Kirk, yeah. So we have come to the final stage of this workflow. Now we have to connect the chat. Now our chatbot is complete. Next I'll be using the AI agents output. Okay, yeah, I think that the problem is with their credentials. Yeah, they have to reconnect their access token again. Yeah, it's correct, and our connection is successfully tested. Let's click save now. We run it again. So if we have stayed until the end of this video, thank you so much. We'll meet again with another cool workflow.